following video, I sat down and reminisced with Adam Tolmach of Ojai Vineyards. Adam was born and raised in Oxnard, California, to loving parents Daniel and Jane Tolmach. His dad was the first pediatric doctor in the city and was on the staff here at St. John's Hospital. His mother Jane was a politician and the first woman mayor of Oxnard in 1973 and 74. Adam grew up here with his 4 siblings, Jim, Richard, Eve, and Jonathan. Adam graduated from Oxnard High School in 1972 and decided to go to UC Davis to study viticulture and enology. After graduating in 1976, he moved to Oakview, just outside of Ojai, to live on the property that his grandfather had purchased in 1933, where he started a truck farming business. After 2 years and only making $4,200, he decided that he needed a real job, and he got one working at Zaca Mesa, which is where I met Adam. I'm here with Adam Tolmach. We're here to talk about Rhone wines and the Rhone Rangers. I've known Adam for quite a long time, and we're here at the Ojai Vineyard, his place here in Oakview.
Glad to be here, Bob.
So this is your family farm.
Well, kind of. Yeah, my grandfather bought this in 1933, and he was not a farmer, and he bought it because he came into some money in the middle of the Depression, and this whole property was set up to be like a housing development with very small houses all over these hills around here, and there's old asphalt roads that go all over the place.
Oh, interesting.
That are falling apart, of course. But so he really just rented it out for cattle ranching. When he bought it, there was a 50-year-old apricot orchard on the property, and that was the extent of the farming, but nobody ever farmed.
And do you prefer to call it Ojai or Oakview? The town is Oakview,
yeah,
right?
The town's Oakview, but
the brand is Ojai.
Yeah, the brand's Ojai because this is all part of the Ojai Valley.
And so growing up, what was your connection to the family farm? Did you make apricot wine then?
You know, we definitely, on weekends, we'd drive up from Oxnard, because that's where I grew up, and run around the hills and, try to capture lizards and snakes and tarantulas and all sorts of stuff like that and bring them back home to Oxnard.
Nice.
One
Your mom must have loved that.
Yeah, there were the memorable times when the snake disappeared into the sofa. My folks they enjoyed wine, and it was kind of unusual at that time. That was a long time ago, and so they had wine with dinner every night. When I was in high school, I sort of got the bug to ferment things, and so we fermented peaches from a friend's peach tree, and of course we did apricot wine here, and we did strawberry wine because there's a lot of strawberries growing in Oxnard.
Right.
And so that whole fermentation process is, it was fun and exciting, and in high school, of course, we just wanted to get high, but that was part of the thrill, is this transformation of fruits into something else.
So your parents having wine with dinner, was that what got you interested in real wine?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, they didn't drink fancy. A lot of Beaujolais, and then a lot of California wines. Zinfandel and Charbonneau and funny things like that.
Yeah.
And we'd get little sips of it, and it definitely gave me the bug for it. And growing up in Oxnard, my parents weren't at all involved with agriculture, but it was all around me, and I love the idea of pursuing something in agriculture. But I had kind of a bent towards chemistry, or at least I thought I did, till I went to UC Davis and took Chem 1A.
You have a degree in science, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I remember Jim saying he has a degree in science.
Yeah, I suffered through a lot.
Yeah.
But it was all a great background. Davis was a great background to understanding the chemistry of wine, and
right.
that was, it's useful.
And did you go there with the intention of studying enology and viticulture, or did that just happen after you were there?
Well, it was sort of, I had a couple choices of where to go, and Davis sort of turned out to be one of them. And it just, I immediately, kind of went to whatever the beginning wine classes and took, you know, as much of viticulture and enology as I could. And so, yeah, I just kind of leaned into that direction. And by college I was, you know, buying bits of wine and you know, going down to visit Kermit Lynch wine merchants in Berkeley. That was a place.
So you went to see Kermit while you were at UC Davis even?
I did, definitely.
Yeah, so that predates any of my visits to Kermit.
I mean, I probably only met Kermit once. So much of why I'm doing what I am doing today has to do with him, in that he was an early proponent of northern and southern Rhone red wines.
He was a huge influence on me, that's for sure.
You know, drinking Kermit's northern Rhone red wines because, I mean, they were, and some of them still are, you know, kind of reasonably priced and fabulous wine.
Well, he was bringing in during that time, you know, like Chave and Troyat and Gripa and Champagne. Do you remember like a particular wine that was like a Lightbulb type wine? You know, like was there an epiphany type wine?
I was really taken with Côte Rôtie, and I mean, there were other producers too that were fantastic, and there were lesser wines, or so-called lesser wines, you know, Saint Joseph and Syrah, grown in the right place, can be this incredible, complex, interesting wine. It has fruit, but that's not the point. The point, you know, it smells like church incense. It's peppery. It's herbal. It's wild, and so yeah. Cool. I don't have one that's specifically the specific wine, but those wines of that time were just like, they really did it for me.
Me too.
You know, although Syrah has not become famous yet, who knows, maybe it will.